Yeah, vocal communication techniques. These are part of non-verbal communication. As we know that half of the message is conveyed through non-verbal. The next one, vocal communication techniques. So here, vocal communication techniques. Maybe you have interesting topic, and you also collected enough material. You organized, planned your material effectively, and also you are using non-verbal communicative cues effectively. But if you don't use vocal cues effectively, what happens? Your speech will not be effective. That's why the vocal cues are what we hear. So in this video, let us learn the vocal communication techniques. This generally focusing more on vocal cues. The cues are accomplished in oral communication through voice quality, volume, pitch, rate of delivery, and pronunciation. Let us begin with voice. Human voice is an integral part of human feelings. So, a person's voice is very often regarded as a cue for effective communication. That's why it is useful to study the various characteristic features of voice to understand more about voice. So, we know that there are people who classified their voice as rich, resonant, aspirate, harsh, muffled, metallic, husky, nasal, squeaky, irritating, deep, and powerful. So, whatever may be the nature of someone's voice, so it can be say that one's voice is unique in their own way, because no two persons have identical voice. So if you have golden voice, it is a kind of asset to you, and if you are not, no need to worry. It's one of the high rated delivery tools, so one can learn by practicing. So the famous here, we can think of some great speakers like Abraham Lincoln. He has penetrating and he has penetrating and harsh voice. If we look at Winston Churchill, right, he suffered a slight lips and an awkward stammer, but they are considered to be great leaders. So similarly, when we look at the quality, quality is a characteristic that distinguishes one voice from another. So it is completely dependent on the resonating mechanism of the voice. So what is this mechanism? Generally, when we see that there are vocal cords, we have vocal cords. That size of the vocal cords may be like mouth, nose, throat cavities, and the size of our chest cavity. So based on these cavities, one can change the quality of voice. Good voice quality generally depends on relaxation of the vocal mechanism. So like voice quality produced without strain is pleasant to the listeners. If you use a kind of stress, then what happens? The voice quality to be strained. So that's what it's very essential to be practice voice control and speech delivery to overcome natural advantages, disadvantages. So that's what voice. The next one, volume is also one of the quality. So this we can say it's a degree of loudness or softness of the voice. Proper and adequate use of volume is one of the most characteristic features of vocal expressiveness. So yeah, one should maintain the good stream of volume, so that volume should be pleasant and carefully modulated to avoid monotony and achieve emphasis. So to do this, one required a kind of effective preparation, genuine interest and attitude, enthusiasm for the subject, right? Everything depends on acoustics of the room and number of audience. Next one, pitch. So pitch is the degree of highness or lowness in the voice. The faster the sound waves vibrate, the higher is their pitch. The slower they vibrate, the lower is their pitch. Change in pitch is also called as inflection. The inflection refers to speaker's use of pitch. Inflection is an important tool in communicating meaning. Inflection gives to your voice warmth and vitality. It is the inflection of your voice that reveals whether you are asking a question or making a statement, whether you are being sincere or sarcastic, right? Everything based on the pitch. So in speech, one can affect the meaning of words, right? The way you utter words. So that's what it's very important to control the problem by tape recording your speeches and your practice them. If you notice that your sentences on the same inflection, either upward or downward, work on varying your speech patterns to fit the meaning of your words. That's also an important. And next one, rate of delivery. So rate of delivery, this is also how the message is delivered. This is one of the most important elements in securing effectiveness in oral communication. That's why rate of delivery refers to the speed at which a person speaks or communicates. A rate of delivery which is either too slow or too fast will not maintain the interest and attention of the audience. If you speak too fast, it is difficult for the audience to follow your thoughts. If the other hand, you speak very slowly from the beginning to the end of the talk, the audience may become dull, bored, and inattentive. That's why speak with verve so that members of the audience can pay their attention in order to assimilate the ideas you present in your talk. This is important. Rate of delivery depends on several factors like subject matter, the audience, the speaker, and the nature of occasion. The rate of delivery also depends on the techniques like duration of the production of stressed and unstressed syllables, and the production of individual sounds, the number of words spoken per minute, the duration and the frequency of pauses, and all that it remains, right? An ordinary person, like an average, he may speak like 120 to 150 words per minute, right? This is in normal context. So that's why one can speak quite fast if you can group words semantically, right? Maybe instead of using a long words group of words, you can use one word substitute or something like that. The next one, pause. The oral communication mark is another factor which controls the rate of delivery also, right? Sometimes if you are doing that. Next one, pronunciation. The pronunciation also refers to the way in which the language. Pronunciation, like the stress, accent of syllables, and how do you pronounce accurate and standard dictionary, right? How do you articulate the sound? These all are important in the part of communication. Sometimes maybe you may use a wrong pronunciation. So knowing the correct pronunciation and how do you formulate it, the syllables. So this is very important in the part of pronunciation. The next one, pauses. This pausing, giving pauses also is the sign of not. It's not a sign of weakness or indecision, but it is the speaker's greatest potential weapon. To learn when how to pause is a major difficult for most beginners. So it can be a signal, the beginning or end of the thought unit, or lend a dramatic impact to the given statement. Sometimes to pause before an important word in a sentence or before an important concept or idea in a speech is a one of the techniques to use. This may help. For example, when we are talking about, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not able to do this work by tomorrow, that is an absolute disaster to the company to face. So you have to ready to face the consequences. This may be a long and keen. That's why. So one must be aware, right, how they are using the form, right? So this is about the vocal techniques of communication skills. Thank you for watching. Subscribe.